Trail runners, welcome back to Chasing Gold, where we are chatting with some of the best trail runners in the world who are coming to the Black Canyon 100K, hoping for a golden ticket to Western States. If you get on the podium this year, you are going to Western States. Today, we have Lindsey McDonald, who races with the Aravaipa Racing Team. She is also supported by Rabbit Elite Trail, Scratch, and Go Macro. Lindsey is coming to us from Flagstaff. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You have not raced at Black Canyon before, correct?
I have not, but I have now run 98% of the course.
And I can attest, I saw you at the training run, and you were, I believe, one of the first to finish on that last section, which is one of the most difficult sections.
I cheated. We got off course the last 2 miles, and I cut half the mile. So that's why I was in first.
Uh-oh. And the Flagstaff contingent, from what I hear from the Flagstaff contingent, you are notorious for getting lost.
Okay. Really, I would just say I have like an open mind to my route. Like I know where I'm going to get to in the end. It's like choose your own adventure. With as many social trails as we have, it's kind of like it's all going to lead back to the same place. You might have to cut through a campground and a highway or two, but
yeah. It sounds like from them, if Lindsey's picking the route, they better pack their bag, because if she says 20 miles, it might be 25, and it could involve some scrambling, and they never know what to expect.
On this edition of What Strava Won't Tell You, you do your best. You do your best.
Nice. Let's talk training. How has the build-up gone? How are you peaking for this event? Have you put all your training to try to spearhead a big performance here?
You know, I would say I don't know if I'm peaking. That's a bold term. But I told my coach, I'm all in on this. So, I was down at sea level. So I'm typically up here in Flagstaff, and I was down at sea level for 8 weeks. And so I was like, what better thing to do than train for a faster 100K race? So my training looked a lot like marathon, 50K road training. So a lot of intensity, a lot of long interval work, a lot of threshold work, stuff that's not necessarily in my comfort zone when you're living up in the mountains and doing slow, sloggy mountain climbing. So it took a solid 2-3 weeks to actually get my turnover back, because I do have a history in track and marathon running. It's just been a few years. But then once I, found my stride, things started feeling smoother. I'm feeling quick. It's been a while since I felt quick. So, and moving really well on trail. So I'm feeling pretty confident about it. I'm also a roach athlete, and David teed me up really well with pretty aggressive training, probably the most aggressive training cycle I've ever done. Highest mileage I've ever hit, highest intensity. So sure. I guess you would say I put all my eggs in one basket here.
It sounds like it. Can you walk us through a typical week? How are you? What kind of volume? What does the workout look like? All that stuff.
Yeah, so with this cycle, typically I'm a 1, maybe 2 workout type of person a week. This one we were doing 2, sometimes 3, and we threw in a lot more shorter races. So I did 3 short trail races in those 8 weeks at pretty max intensity. They're punchy trails, hilly trails in the Midwest. Similar feel to the Black Canyon Trail. So typical week is Mondays are, really easy, either off or 3 to 4 mile jog. Tuesdays are another easy day. Wednesday or Tuesday, Thursday. Sometimes we were doing Tuesday, Thursday. Sometimes we were doing Wednesday, Saturday, or Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
Woo!
We were kind of switching back and forth. So we build up intensity, and then we drop the mileage down, and then we build up mileage, and then drop the intensity down, and kind of go back and forth from there. So
Sure.
good balance, keeping me healthy. I'm very injury prone, so always riding that line of not doing too much, but hitting like 70 to 80 miles a week, which is hard for me.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds like you're more than ready for this one. What about on the course? Is there a section of the course, now that you know it, what gets you nervous? What gets you excited? What plays into your skill set?
So I would say I'm a much stronger climber than descender. I feel like everyone coming from the mountains are like, climbs, it's great.
Sure.
They're like, oh, this course, these feel like bumps because they're so gentle, especially at sea level. I say the last 24 miles I loved.
Nice.
I ran the first 21 a couple of weeks ago, and then the next day I ran the last 24 just to see what it would feel like. And it honestly felt a lot better than the first 21, probably because I like the climbing and I like the variation of having a mix instead of just all downhill. I will say the first section, I understand why people blow up though, because it's downhill, but there's so many washes and there's so many twists and turns that if you don't run that efficiently, you absorb it all into your like hip flexors and glutes, and then everything's just trashed. So it's like strategically running those washes, banking it a little bit and just not powering out too aggressively. There's a strategy to running the first part. So seeing that and understanding how it flows, I think will be an advantage.
Absolutely. I feel the same. That first section, it is downhill, but there are, like you said, you enter a wash and then you exit, and you may have a very short climb coming out of that wash. And a great trail runner understands how that speed can then be carried up the hill, but not pushed too hard up the hill. You almost have to just have a very fine line of, not pushing too hard on those short climbs at the beginning, but taking advantage of the speed that's created on the downs.
Yeah, for sure. They're energy zappers.
Yep. And talk to us about the fueling and hydration. What do you got in the bottles? What do you have in your pocket? How are you going to get through this thing?
So I'm gonna use a mix. I'm not very experienced with races much longer than 5 or 6 hours. So I've done like a 44 miler and then that 50 miler, and I've gotten away with this is terrible. Like all liquid calories, mostly Scratch Super Fuel, which is a patented low glycemic index starch it's not sweet, so you don't have taste fatigue. And it packs like a ton of calories. And I've been fairly successful with that. I would not suggest doing that on a hot course though, because you need to be focusing on drinking your electrolytes and not just your calories. So I am doing spring energy gels, which seems to be what everyone's saying.
Sure.
But you can get 180 calories in really easily. So I'll be pushing those every 30 minutes. And substituting a little bit with Scratch Super Fuel, and then also Scratch Hyperhydration, which has a ton of electrolytes in it, and has gotten me through some gnarly canyon runs in 100 plus degree heat. So I never have any GI issues. I've never had a GI issue before, so I pretty much could eat anything at an aid station, and it doesn't really bug me. So worst case scenario, if those things don't sound good, I'll just shove whatever. That is my ultra superpower, is I can push the most calories of anyone I know, and I've never had GI distress. So watch out, guys.
Watch out. I've also heard you like to stash some naked fruit smoothies in bushes on some of the trail runs.
Oh yeah, yep. Let's go down nice and smooth too midway run. Yeah, I'll probably drink a couple of those.
Perfect. I didn't touch on your racing history, but we will now. You said you don't have too much experience, but in your first 50 miler at Sky Peaks in Flagstaff, what place did you come in?
First female, second overall. I really wanted to win first overall, but I lost the lead at 37 miles. It was okay. Next time I'll get it.
It sounds like you know what you're doing, even though the experience is lesser.
I thought I had a home turf advantage, but.
And let's talk about Pikes Peak. That's a super competitive event. You got fifth there. What takeaways could you take from that? You're racing on the big stage there, and you've probably seen the women's field here is super stacked. Do you
Oh
think
yeah.
there's any takeaways from racing with that to help keep you calm amongst, so many big name runners at this field?
I think what I really focused on there is really keeping up with hydration and nutrition early, making sure I made those stops when people are running through aid stations. I know it's tempting to not necessarily stop at everyone, and sometimes, they're really close together at this one, and sometimes you won't need to stop. But I think that caught up to a lot of people I was racing at Pikes Peak, and just sticking to your guns and your strategy, and it will pay off in the end, especially in a hotter race, which Pikes Peak was in the 90s down at the bottom, which was kind of a torture the last 8 miles. But
Sure.
this will be exactly the same thing. It'll be nice and hot.
Well, there is some talk of the weather already. It came through our channel today. It's currently forecasted in the 80s for next weekend. It is still very far away. Jubilee Page will tell you that it's far away, and you cannot predict what it's going to be a week and a half away. But we could be in for a hot day here. So
heat training.
Yeah, the altitude up in Flagstaff may have a little crossover for you there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how are you going to approach the race, mental strategies, or even process goals. How are you breaking down the race? What are you telling yourself throughout the event to stay calm and put yourself in a position to succeed late?
So I've given this a little bit of thought. I'm kind of breaking it down into the first 50K and second 50K. So just keeping it pretty smooth and controlled, low effort the first 50K, again, focusing on hitting my nutrition strategy and staying on top of that. I would like to stay in contact with a lead group, but if they go out really hot and that's not something I feel comfortable with, I'll probably just play a game of chase in the back half. So yeah, probably stay chill the first half and then try to hunt people down the second half. I love chasing. That's very motivating to me. A big competitive field is really motivating to me. So like going after people is going to be really fun.
Awesome.
Have a target on some people's backs, hopefully.
Absolutely. And are you coming down here with crew and pacer or no?
Yes, my husband's crewing me, and then my friend Jess is going to be pacing me. Last 24, right? He can jump in at Black Canyon City.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Yep.
It sounds like you are ready. I don't know if you are ready for the 10-question fast-paced fartlek round, but we are going to find out now. Lindsey, first question. What sneakers will you be wearing on race day?
First of all, I love that you call them sneakers.
Everyone, what are people calling these things these days? This is like the fourth person to tell me.
Trainers.
What, are we in England? If I go into the store, what am I asking for? Am I asking for running shoes?
Running shoes.
Is that the terminology we're going with? I'm gonna.
But you can say sneakers because I like the way that sounds. Speed goats.
Speed goats from Hoka. Love it.
Field of rocks at mile 50 under my feet.
Nice. That is a very good shoe. How about you win a golden ticket? Who's it going to? Gene Wilder or Johnny Depp?
I feel like I'm cheating because I've had time to think about this. Gene Wilder, so we can make a meme out of it later, right?
Perfect. Grocery store guilty pleasure. What's going in the cart we don't want to know about?
Whole Foods hot bar, the entire hot bar.
Oh, come on. That's not guilty pleasure.
It's so expensive. That's why it's a guilty. It's like $20 for one container.
It is. You put that thing on the scale, and there goes your wallet. I hear that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Walkout song. You are the DJ. You get to play what is coming on through the speakers when you walk onto that track. What is it?
Probably something by the weekend, or let's just say like Starboy.
Okay.
Star Girl. Make it Star Girl.
How do you drink your coffee?
Actually, I always have cold brew because I'm lazy and I don't like to make it in the morning, and coconut creamer.
Even in that cold weather up at Flagstaff, you're drinking cold brew tomorrow. Wow.
You just need to power up, so you just chug cold brew.
All right. Race day superstitions. What do you got?
I don't really have any superstitions.
All
Yeah,
right.
not superstitious.
Will Lindsey be wearing shades or no shades on race day?
I've never been a shades person. I'll wear a baseball cap, but I feel like you can't see the trail well with shades on. So no shades.
True. Race day breakfast.
It's a combination of things. So a like a coconut milk yogurt. Usually like a serving of scratch super fuel because that's like 400 calories, and then a go macro bar and maybe a banana. I try to get a lot of calories in. I try to get like 1,000 calories in before I run because I get hungry. I get really hungry. So.
And what's the digestion time on that? Do you have that down to a science that you have to wait X long before you eat all that?
2 hours before, maybe 90 minutes.
Perfect.
It's not too bad.
All right. Favorite local trail run?
Oh, like route? Like trail?
Favorite trail in Flag?
I'm a big fan of the Weatherford Trail. That's probably my favorite trail.
Very good choice.
There in the winter, which is sad, but in the summer, I hit that a lot.
Very good choice. All right. Last one. Putting you on the spot. The dust has settled at the end of the day. What place are you finishing the Black Canyon 100K in?
Well, you know what? I have written on my little goal board here, top 5. So I'm just going to say 3rd.
Perfect. 3rd is good enough to pack your dance shoes for Western States. Lindsey, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
We will see you at the start line.